Okay, welcome to the Offload with Tommy and Donncha. It is episode 10, Tommy.
10!
I was waiting since we started. I was there, we'll never get to 10, and then I can crack the gag.
He's some laugh, isn't he? Yes, episode 10. Can you believe it? I mean, that is almost as impressive as Seamus O'Reilly and his 10 siblings, yeah.
Can I ask, man, is it, how many times a day do you get it?
Do you know what the worst part is? It's people kind of get it wrong. So if they just came and goes, 10 siblings, it's like, 4 brothers and sisters. Or, people like a group of lads would be shouting going, 20 brothers. I'm like, it's siblings, lads. If you're going to slag me. But it's actually Twitter and social media, anything where there's a big number now, it's like 72 in a Tommy Bowe voice. Everything is a number in a Tommy Bowe voice. So yeah, but there you have it.
Isn't it mad? Along. Yeah, it's mad because I get the same about the Red Jocks. Do you know the part of your brain you've heard the joke? Like I'm done with it, lads. But I know it's your first time cracking it, so I have to go along with I have the Red Jocks on again today. Hey, honk honk.
Do you know what though I struggle with is that. Like, I love the clip. I think it's the funniest thing. I've watched it about 1,000 times myself. Brian's car crash. And it could be worse. But but people think I get upset. Like if they say it to me, they kind of go, 10 siblings. I don't know how to react. I kind of go, yeah, no, it's funny. But like, it's hard. Like, what do you say? Do you mean like, yeah. I know I got caught out there, didn't I? Yeah.
That's it. But I noticed a thing about Irish people, and I think it's a nervous thing, right? Our default in meeting someone for the first time is to slag them, and it can go horribly wrong. I've had moments like that where someone kind of comes in and gives you the... where was it? I recently retired and I was walking home after work one day with donuts. I was there like, I've rarely got to do this. I'm going to bring donuts home to my family. And the amount of them, hey, does Paul O'Connell know you've those? And come the end of getting down Patrick Street, I was there like at the end, I was there. You know what I mean?
Just throw them in the bloody bin. Back, Paulie. It's funny. I wonder how long it'll last because we actually had Brian McFadden and Keith Duffy on the show this week. Boys Life, they call themselves, right? They're back in Ireland anyway. And but Keith Duffy, so anytime he says he gets interviewed, all people ever do is bring up the clip of them on the Late Late. Boyzone?
Yes.
Raven with the tops
incredible.
Off. And he's like, we've sold like 26 million copy albums where like we have toured every corner of the planet and all anybody wants to talk to us about is Raven beside Gay Byrne and the Late Late Show. Like, give it a rest.
Well, that's us, Tommy. Honestly, you scored one of the greatest Grand Slam tries I've ever seen in my life. I was privileged to be on the pitch, but you're the 10 siblings guy and I'm the fella in the Red Jock.
Likewise.
And that's it.
90 caps for your country, gone on to do radio on the morning show, but the Red Jocks is going to stick with us forever. And my kids haven't copped on to the 10 siblings yet, because at the minute, like, people can say, your dad, like, rugby player and stuff. Yeah. The day then the YouTube clip of 10 siblings come out, I am not going to be cool anymore.
Did I tell you, it happened to me. Our kids got a whiteboard in school. Their class got a really fancy whiteboard, and someone was there, I think it could have been Anna. They were like, Anna's dad is on Fittest Family and plays rugby. Put him in, because on the whiteboard you can type in like it comes up.
No.
They put up Donncha O'Callaghan and there's me in the jocks. She's like, and I actually heard her in with Jenny. She was there to Jen, like kind of trying to, the way like kids just trying to work it out in her head, like, and she was there. Why would he do it, Mom? Why would he try to play in his undies, Mom?
we all ask that same question. She's not the only one.
Asking the question as I'm doing it. What am I doing?
It's the fact that you're so serious, like in the line out, wanting to get the it's a classic clip, but we'll talk about it another day. 10 siblings, Red Jock's going to live with us forever, I'm afraid. But yeah, I know, it's like, Anyway, episode 10, it is brought to you by 15 Kings, of course. It's coming up to Christmas, really good. 15kings.com, check it out. Christmas parties, Christmas nativities. We had my daughter's Christmas carol service last night. Another 6 years of that. That was brilliant. I love.
Can I
so
tell
proud,
you, Mum?
proud parent.
Can I tell you my lowest moment as being a parent? Right? You'd even admit it. I got great innings out of rugby, to be fair, but I probably twisted a little bit too far, signing on for another year with Worcester at that time.
Just
Remember?
a tad.
Just
Yeah.
a tad.
Well, what age were you? Like 40?
I was 39. Yeah, 39.
Like, come on. Give it
Yeah.
up, mate.
It was like the last 15 minutes of Marley and me. Everyone was just like, oh, jeez, you wrap it up, fella. Wrap it up, it's done. But anyway, do you know what? One of those moments, I was in, listen to this, Worcester had organised for our Christmas party. All of us went to the Alley Pally for the darts. So there was like everyone dressed up. Tommy, you know the way you see it and you think this place is bananas? I swear, that's like, it is 80% better when you're in there. It is like,
Hold on. Can I ask it? Were you in the middle?
We were up on the kind of, there's high seats, like
on the side,
seats,
up the sides. Okay,
up the back of it. Yeah,
because I always see the tables in the middle. Like tables. That just looks like the most unbelievable. But it's as good as it looks on telly, if not 10 times better.
100%. Like, it was wild. And to be fair, a few, like, you can imagine a squad of maybe over 35, 40 lads. There was lads at different tables, but there was a group of us in the middle, kind of living it up. But I'll never forget. You know the way squads go, but there was a row and I was trying to break up a fight between Matt Cox, one of my teammates, who was dressed up as Popeye, and another one dressed up as Where's Wally. You know, like two of them were on the ground just acting the maggot, and my phone was going in my pocket and Jenny was sending me videos of Sophie singing "Oh Holy Night" at her Christmas pageant or whatever it was, and I was there like, here I am in the Alley Pally, and there's my beautiful little girl at her first Christmas show, her nativity, and here's me kind of, leave it off, Wally, leave it off.
Listen, well worth it. Well, you've totally scuppered me here, because it was my son's nativity today and he was there singing like Away in a Manger, so cute, and I was there going to talk about how you get the guilt. You know, as a rugby player, as a dad, you miss these things. You miss these special events. And then you just gone and said, I was, not because I was working, because I was at the Alley Pally watching the darts.
but in a way it is work, because you're team bonding and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember Matt, like I was there to him afterwards. I was giving out to him for rowing with one of our own. You know the way you'd be like, we don't need stuff like that. And he was there like, back off me, man. You're the bad egg here, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, he put it back on you, did he?
100% dad guilt. Yeah, which is a good way to go with it.
Yeah, well, that puts you back in your box, particularly coming from Popeye or Where's Wally. I presume you were there in the blow-up dinosaur, like just
I think I had something like that. Yeah, I jumped in with a few lads. You know the way there's always a few outfits that are fairly classic. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a hell of a Christmas party. We did we've done a couple with Ulster. You know, like mystery trips. You get on a bus and there's only like a handful of people know where you're going, and you just on the bus, the crack is mighty. You turn up at some bar and it's absolute chaos. Like with the Ospreys, though, they were particularly bad. We did bus trips down to London. And it's like a 3-hour bus trip. Start off with a load of McDonald's in the morning. The coaches ended up having to go. We paid the coaches, the Ospreys paid for bouncers to come with us to make sure we didn't get any trouble.
But isn't that always the problem? It's never people outside your environment. It's always trying to square up with someone that you've had enough of all year.
Big time. It's like the two back rowers are fighting for the same position all year, and this is their one chance. A 3-hour bus trip down to London on the piss all day, and then on the bus trip on the way home, no one is safe. I mean, literally anything goes in that trip.
Do you remember one time after Eddie came back from the Lions tour, Clive Woodward had security around the Lions to keep everyone away pretty much from Johnny Wilkinson. And Eddie thought it was a good idea, like typical Celtic Tiger, to do the same when we got back to Ireland for Drico. Like, no one was interested in the rest of us, but to be fair, for Drico to move around the place, we needed a few security lads.
I do remember that.
It was wild, wasn't it?
Was it Autumn International? No, it was the Six Nations or something. Was this where, or around Christmas time, we went out on the lash? We did this like drumming thing down Dunleary. Do you remember that?
I remember. So we had to, do you remember your piece? 1, 2, 3, cup of tea.
On the bongos, a bunch of Irish rugby lads trying to learn, honestly, trying to get some of the lads to try and do a bit of tempo together.
But I'll never forget it because the bouncers, right? We were out in some bar or something like that. And at the time, Marcus Horner got a cauliflower ear. And when you get them for the first time, they fill up with like liquid and they're really sore. But David Wallace was sitting beside him and knew how sore they were. And just for the crack, he flicked his ear. You know what I mean? And then, to be fair, Marcus just didn't even think and just reacted, and they started jumping in. And then I think like Paul O'Connell saw it and John Hayes saw it, and they just started jumping in. So there the four of them are on the ground jumping around the place, and there's the security going, what the fuck?
We're meant to be protecting O'Driscoll. They were just making sure Driscoll didn't get involved. Like, form a circle. Brian O'Driscoll might get hit with something here. Eddie, leave the rest of the Munster lads.
The angel up on top of the tree. Protect Draco.
Let's get him out of here. Our car pulls up outside. What happened? Eddie's asking. The rest of the lads, they were scrapping. Door with them.
They're still at it. 12 stitches between the lot of them, but Draco's fine.
I have so many stories of Christmas parties. They were some crack.
Wild,
there's the most infamous one we had was in Wales. It was in we did a trip somewhere, and we ended up back at a rugby club just outside, I think it was Port Talbot direction, called Taibach, Richard Hibbard's home club. And we'll have to get Hibbard or a couple of the Ospreys on to tell that story, because that was down as rugby folklore over in Wales. I mean, there's a lot of stories from that one. So
I love those ones.
We woke up the next morning. I went for some food with Jonathan, breakfast the next morning, and the two of us we went for a big greasy spoon breakfast, and we were sitting there and we were like, that was pretty good last night. Well, yeah, not that much trouble. And we went and called Alan Wynne Jones, who said everything was all right. Al, wasn't it a bit sketchy? And then Al goes, boys, the police have been called. So I was loose.
Oh, anyway, no. I love those stories, though, that like when you ask, there's about 12 different versions. You know what I mean? And like,
no one can quite remember what actually happened.
No, absolutely. I actually do remember a Christmas party that got a bit loose with us, and myself and Stringer got in trouble because we were the two sober lads, and they were like, at some point, the sober lads should have jumped in and put everything north of it again. They were like, yeah, sorry, I know that got a bit out of hand, but wait, can I ask a question? Where were the sober lads?
Well, exactly. Well, you were in the middle of it. You were sticking up for Marcus, digging Wally.
Brilliant, I love it.
Any excuse to go and whack a few of the lads.
Yeah.
Listen, of course, there's lots of rugby going on at the minute. At the weekend, we'll get into a bit of Europe. I want to get your... there's another bit in the news here again. Ronan O'Gara back in the news, another Munster man. Talks of, obviously, La Rochelle, big win for them against Bath, away from home. Yeah. Rog loves this. As soon as there's an international job comes up, he's always in the mixer for it. And he kind of stokes it as well. He kind of goes, I remember the last time he was stoking up. Yeah, well, I would coach England because his contract was up for negotiation.
Yeah.
And got a mega deal. But he's back at it again, I gather.
Go on, what's he said?
Well, I gather he said that he would love to be a coach of international rugby, which you can imagine because that's kind of the goal for anybody. Yeah. But he said that, let me have a look at it here.
I love the way I've done you on facts.
I have. Says he'd love to coach England or any of the home nations.
Oh, amazing.
Right? But then Mike Phillips then tweeted about the Welsh job because he said he's not interested in the Welsh job. Mike Phillips again.
Just 2 seconds. Can you have a word with Philsy? You're tight.
He's lost the plot, this fella.
Just on Twitter, just to bring it down a little bit. What's he said?
Look at this. He's tweeted, I don't think he realises, this is Ronan O'Gara, if you coach Wales, you get 600 grand a year for losing every game. Who wouldn't take that? Plus, if you win a few, you get some gates named after you. That's, of course, the Warren Gatlin gates on the way into the Kingspan, what I'm talking about, Principality Stadium. Yeah, Filzy's losing it a bit, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah,
You need to put him straight. He's great fun, but sometimes, I don't know, is Twitter the best place to be having a laugh?
We'll get him on for the tie back story. He'll give it the proper rundown.
Brilliant.
He was in the middle of it. We won't read too much into Rog going to England.
Do you know what, though? No, but I think he's being really honest. I think that's the aspiration of anyone. But I kind of feel about Roger's unfinished business with La Rochelle, and whatever about Europe, winning the top 14 is probably a massive drive for him. But
with Borthwick under a bit of pressure as well, like, that'd be a hell of a gig, wouldn't it? Like, they've some budget, you know. Conor O'Shea is kind of the director or head of rugby there as well. Yeah. Felix obviously was part of it, but I wonder what people would have thought if you saw Ronan O'Gara. Like, I would have thought, like, say you look at European rugby at the weekend, you look at the 4 provinces and La Rochelle. Because it's almost like an Irish team because of Rog and Donncha Ryan and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The thing is, though, I'm not just saying that, but we know him. I think he'd be good in that environment because he's spiky and he's challenging, and he's not a nodding dog, if you know what I mean. So, like, he will... Like Borthwick there, I thought that was really interesting when he talked about fitness, whereas Roger will come straight out and give it to lads down the bar. You know what I mean? Straight to the eyes.
Remember he said that. He went straight in and told Skelton, you need to lose weight. Went in and told a load of the lads, like, this is not good enough. If we're going to play high tempo rugby, I need more from you. And like, even you see it at the weekend against Bath, like the conditions. La Rochelle, they're used to nice enough weather over in France. To go and play in Bath, the wreck, that the ground, it doesn't look like it's the best of pitches over there. Like, there's every excuse.
And the tiny dressing room. Like, come on, Bath, give us a break.
Every excuse for them to kind of be like, do you know what? Let's leave this one. But geez, they were very impressive against Bath as well. So, like, you think about Leinster and the team they have, but La Rochelle, they're going to be right up there again. It's going to be a tricky one. So, yeah, okay, Rod, stay at La Rochelle for the minute. Unfinished business, as you say.
Yeah, well, we'd like to see him. Yeah, of course you want the best guys coaching, and I think that's, honestly, you get held in those, you get thought about for those roles if you're good enough, and he certainly is good enough now, so it's good to hear him always in the mix for them.
Man, he's right up there. He's seen as one of the best coaches in the world at the minute. Like, it's and credit to him, because people kind of talk about, Ronan O'Gara, like, and you have to say it to Jess, his wife, like,
what a dope,
what a trooper. I mean,
unbelievable.
To take the kids, retiring, living in Cork for so long, and then to take them to Paris for him to go and cut his teeth coaching over there, take the family, the whole lot, then to go over to New Zealand. Was he there for a year or 2 years? And then to La Rochelle. Like, that's a huge commitment. Not just from Rog, but like from the whole family. It's unbelievable.
No, it is, and look, good things happen, good people, and like I always got a giggle out of it though, Tommy. People going, "Geez, O'Gara's a handy coach," and I'm not just saying it. He's been coaching since I've been 18. If you know what I mean, like like there's nothing new. Maybe the way he has to put it across is different, and maybe his management skills are different. No,
they've definitely improved. Jesus, he was brutal on the pitch.
He was tough on you because he knew there was a lot in you, so it was a good thing.
Out of it. Well, maybe that, but geez, until you earned his respect, you were on the wrong end of Rog. I actually noticed it one day. I think it was actually when I was in the Ospreys, and I came back and I could actually finish a 2v1, like draw somebody in and give the pass away. And like, up until that, Rog used to torture me. But soon he gets a bit of respect all of a sudden. Yeah, he was a different guy, and I got on brilliantly with him. So much respect. So it's great to see him going so well. Let's talk Bath.
Yes.
Bath Stad at the weekend.
Sorry, a Stad Munster.
What did I say? Bath? Oh, sorry, Munster. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Let's talk Munster. Yeah, Munster against Stad. Like, the big headline I've come out of this is Luke Pearce, the referee, has had a bit of a shocker. Like, Stad, couple of red cards, probably could have had another. Could Munster have had a red card as well early on?
Ooh, what play is that, do you think?
Who's the yellow card that got? They got a yellow card in the first half.
Look, I've such red blinkers on that I'd never see any of ours leading to be sent off in any way. I can't recall it, but on a broad stroke all weekend, I was disappointed with the refereeing. I know it's not our place and we shouldn't, But I think it's very frustrating if you're a player at the moment and no one's saying that the standard is so poor. But it started in La Rochelle and Bath on Friday night, and it finished with Bristol Leinster. Like, if you saw the end of that game, it was shambolic. You know what I mean? There was line that's been thrown in with the clock in the red. There was all sorts going on. Poor Andrew Porter and the other prop came on and got binned within like 2 seconds of each other, and then it just turned into a mess. Look, I don't want to be harsh on refs because they, like, 100% they're the standard setters for our game, but I actually think they need so much more support. I honestly think calling the touch judges the assistant referees was the worst thing we've ever done, because they've actually done less. I think we should bring the title back and just call them flag holders, because honestly, Tommy, they're fucking useless at the moment. None of them are watching onside. None of them are helping the referees. TMOs only come in. Like, what I've noticed, there should be a button beside the TMO's thing to talk to the ref saying, will this help the game? When I press this button, will it help the game? Because there was one in the Ulster match where they called back 10 offside on the kick.
It's wrecking my head.
But then the thing
it's too much. It is the TMOs are coming in too much. And maybe you're right. Maybe the touch judges aren't, or the flag holders. The
flag holders, honestly, the flag holders at one point should be on the pitch. I actually think the role has to totally change. It's like, no, it should be, honestly, you know the way in basketball you work in a triangle. If the ball's over the other side of the pitch, they should be on the pitch holding the offside line. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. They should work.
But they are meant to be doing that. They are. Like, whenever I've been on the wing, I look across, the touch judge is always giving you the offside line. Yeah, if he's not calling it, well then that's on them. But I do agree with you with the TMO. They're coming in too much. It's spoiling it. You don't know what's going on. I even think of the Ireland matches. Like, there were decisions being made, and I'm watching the game, and all of a sudden you're like, are they not going to look at that? And supposedly they'd be in the referee's ear, and you might hear it on the television. But if you're in the stadium, the referee then runs back, gives a penalty for something. You're like, well, what's going on? Where was this? There's no replay on the big screen. Like, if you're a spectator at the game, it's very hard to know what's going on, particularly with the TMO.
Well, they got that right with the autumn internationals, where the refs could chat to the grounds, and hopefully that gets better. But that
was after a while, Jimmy. Like, it's like it's like NFL. They're like, penalty against 16 green for a deliberate offside, and you're like, well, show us a clip of it. Yeah,
but Luke Pearce had one in the Munster match, right, where he called for something and he reversed the penalty, and he said whatever it was, and then they showed it and he wasn't right, and instead of saying, you know what I mean, or checking it again or something like that, he blamed Jack Crowley for a throwaway comment. You could hear him running back going, ask Jack what he said. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you're saying, give the penalty for it. And another thing for me, their positioning at the moment, it is very clear they're not training with rugby squads at the moment, because all of them are getting in the way. Poor Rob Herring had to push one, and you don't ever want to put your hands on the ref. I remember, never, ever. But when people are exposed, I'm convinced everyone is targeting that. You know where La Rochelle scored off, where the ref is standing at the back of the line now.
Two people out almost at the edge,
exactly it. And you throw it in there and it's nearly up for the bad, because you can run that ref line. So,
well, I saw there was a try there recently where somebody bashed into the referee, and then they had to go, well, I don't know if it was a try or not. I didn't get to see it. But I always remember we used to have referees in all the time training with us, and just kind of refereeing kind of practice matches just for 10, 20 minutes. Like Nigel Owens would have been in when we were at the Ospreys. We had a couple of different referees when we were in with Ulster. Yeah, if they're not getting that practice, it's pretty important that they get that.
100%.
They must be, though, Dunners. They must be. We don't know if they are or not.
Well, someone needs to say to them when they come together, lads, at the moment we have to look at everyone's positioning, because right now, and to be fair, in that, I think it was the Leinster match against Bristol, where the ref was saying to someone, well, I have to stand somewhere. But you can hear the players are saying to him, well, you're in my... You only worry about your area of space. And if... we know it, Tommy, you expose the ref line if you're a good enough player.
Yeah, of course, if you can, yeah.
And if the ref's in your way, you're there ref, you need to shift here, because you're making me very vulnerable. So I do think I know we need to assist them and look out for them a little bit better, but they need to get their finger out of their arse and find better positioning on the pitches, because at the moment, you can say the game's evolved and it's moving so quickly. They're all in the way.
Okay, rant done. Fair play.
Thanks.
I think,
Thank
listen, and to be fair, Luke Pearce was in the Irish Times this week as well, them talking about him having a shocker, but the referee in that Leinster match as well, Owen Doyle, wrote about it. But from a Munster point of view, quickly, they've got cast this weekend. Like, they don't have a head coach, I don't think, at the minute. Like, what's going on there at the minute? I see Mike Prendergast has said that he'd love to get that job as a head coach. I think he's signed on. Like, it doesn't seem to be affecting the team too much, though, because, like, they seem to be playing quite well.
Yeah, they did. It was a good win. It was a great result. Toman was on fire, to be fair to it. Whoever turned up there, honestly, everyone goes on about Toman being intimidating, but I actually think it nearly got under the Stad's skin a little bit and kind of nearly eked those kind of reactions. Toman I think it's a special spot. I was incredibly impressed with Craig Casey. I thought it was a coming of age performance.
Really?
I thought he was brilliant at the weekend. And you'll always look to the skills part of his game, his tempo, his service. But for me, if you're a Munster 9, it's actually a different job. You are boss. Fly half, 10 calls the shots, but you're boss of the pack.
Well, listen. We need him. We like Ireland from an Irish point of view. Like, he is pretty much the incumbent, the man in behind Gibson Park at the minute. Like, they need him to step up to the plate. They need him to start pressuring him.
Agreed, but he did. To be fair to him, and it was there was a few things that stood out for me that you kind of go, give us a break, Donners. But like small things, Fineen Wycherley's about to give away a penalty at a breakdown, and he genuinely grabs him by the throat and drags him out. You know what I mean? I'm there like, there's my 9. You know what I mean? Even when he was being tombstoned, did you see what in the act of being tombstoned? He's still presenting the ball, Tommy. He's doing his job. And a small thing, I know it's nothing, but ref blows for half time, he's straight down the tunnel. I think the rest of his teammates could look at his conditioning. Everyone looks at his, maybe chats about his height, but he's in great nick, and I think maybe he's a guy that could drive the standards for the rest of them to be in that same condition.
Yeah, we'll see. It's still early days as well, but exactly, like, from an Irish point of view, we need him to be really pushing on himself and Jack Crowley. Like, you need, like, the stronger the pair of those can be, the better it's going to be for their chances in green coming into the Six Nations and beyond as well. Leinster again.
Hold on, before we go, give me another second.
Enough about Munster. Come on.
Just Peter O'Mahony.
Should have been sent off.
What? He was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah. Was he not in I didn't see the match, so right. But I thought that he was under a bit of pressure. Could have been lucky with the contact as well. The swinging arm by Peter O'Mahony,
Well, he took a swinging arm to the chops with a brilliant inside pass.
On Peter O'Mahony.
Yeah,
my bad, sorry.
But do you know what? Everyone, like, what's the common denominator here? Everyone's going on about the Irish lineup being poor. And then the Munster ones whistles away. Pete's the difference. And I heard other ex-players going on that he might be slow on the ground or that he doesn't have the best spring. Are you fucking mental? Like, genuinely, this fella, like, Tommy, you've seen him on a CMJ mat. And what's that jump called, that where you jump off the box and your reaction time?
Box jump.
Is that what
CMJ as well?
He's a freak.
Listen, we know that Pete is. He's always been a freak. But if you think of the strength and depth we have in the back row, he's 35 years of age now. No. Listen, I'm not retiring. I'm far from it.
No, but
he's a fantastic competitor, unbelievable warrior, unbelievable servant to Munster and to Ireland. But listen, we're in a World Cup transition now.
No,
we have to be starting to move on.
No, we don't.
Why not?
We have to beat England. That's all we have to do. We have to beat England in the Aviva.
Yeah.
And hold on,
listen, I love Pete, and listen, we have to talk about the other provinces as well. But I mean, if you look at, say, the back row in Leinster, even in Ulster, is it Chukwu's, these guys as well? They're the future as well, Donners. We have to start looking to these guys.
I think Peter O'Mahony is only going one way. He's going to be like O'Connell. He is going to go out on a shield. And
a coach.
In terms of...
Do you think he'd be a coach?
I don't know. But my point is, I hate saying this, but I think he's going to finish injured. He will write himself off on the pitch, and that's how Pete goes. And I think, like, touch wood, that all goes as well as we all want. But I would keep tugging him out because.
Listen, you've got your months to speak in, right? Okay, you didn't talk up the European Cup much last weekend. In fact, you said you prefer to go and watch the darts, which I didn't know you were such a fan of, to be fair. But enjoyable. Like Leinster, strong enough win. Touch and go at one stage with the 2 yellow cards, whatever as well. But like, listen, Geordie Barrett coming on. Like, geez, they just have such an abundance of riches. Yeah. And like you said it before, like, I love that line last week that Leinster, if they don't win this year, they're like the Children's Hospital. But I mean, like, it's not going to be tough for them, but they have to win. Like, and they just, you look at the bench that they were able to bring on. Like, it's bringing on Snyman, bringing on Doris, bringing on Geordie Barrett. I mean, it's just, that's insane, isn't it?
It was incredible. And to be fair, those guys did change the game as well. Like, Snyman is incredible, man, when he plays for. And you could just see Barrett was a class apart. But I was unbelievably impressed with Prendergast. And what I believe with him is he doesn't even know his ceiling yet. So if we keep exposing him to higher and higher standards, if you surround him with the likes of the Barretts, the Snymans, if that becomes his normal every time, he's gonna go through the roof. Like, I was actually, after watching it, I was thinking, how good would it be for Sam Prendergast to go on a Lions tour? Like, just to like, you get exposure to all the levels. And
well, I was at a dinner, the big 150th dinner, and I was chatting to a load of the journalists there, and they were saying that Farrell loves Sam Prendergast, and talking about this guy. He is so confident, so sure. Like, he's like on Farrell's case. Like, when is it my turn? Like, for a young guy, 21 years of age, like, he is just chomping at the bit to get going. He's full of confidence. So, yeah, listen, I mean, like, I just love, he's 21, Crowley's 24. Like, that's going to be a battle for the next 10 years. Yeah, like, it's going to be unbelievable. And I'd be really interested to see, like, I think that Crowley needs Casey, the two of them, 9 and 10. You think of O'Gara and Stringer. Like, if they can be the difference going forward, I think that they can really push into the 9 and 10 jersey for Ireland. Yeah. But if you're waiting on Gibson Park, it's going to have to be Prendergast, I think.
Yeah. And look, you wouldn't disagree with it the other day. Like, the other thing as well is his frame is really good, man. Like, I know people were saying that he wasn't quick. He got a half break there and he was gone. Like, we don't even know his potential yet. And he's going to fill out his great pair of shoulders. You can see he can carry a bit of tin.
He's a big lad,
yeah. Like, he's only going to get better and better.
And imagine playing with the likes of a Geordie Barrett and Doris. Like, I mean, that is a dream. That's, if you can't learn like that. And I always remember Johnny talking about how, you know, he struggled in the earlier years. I remember playing with him in Ireland under 20s and under 21s. He said it was having the likes of Contepomi there, training with the likes of him, learning off O'Driscoll, Darcy, these guys. Like, that's what brings you to the next level. And he is just, I mean, in the perfect position to learn in this Leinster team.
100% it. And like I said, we don't know the ceiling. Like, this fella could be amazing if he keeps that, if he's a sponge around these players. And I honestly think every Leinster supporter should write Andy Farrell a Christmas card saying thank you very much for unearthing Sam Prendergast, because to be fair, if Farrell didn't tour him then start him, he wouldn't be togging out last weekend. So fair play. Get busy, Leinster supporters.
Leo was just biding his time, doing it right. Connacht, listen, good win for them. 7 tries to 2 up against Zebra as well. Got Perpignan next week in the Challenge Cup as well. I do have to mention them. Like, listen, great win for them against Zebra as well. But I then have to go from that to Ulster.
Hold on, before you leave Connacht, what about Connacht's gear? It's beautiful, isn't it?
I love it. Kit? Yeah, that's nice. Cool. Yeah. I mean, if that's what you're picking up from the performance, fair play.
No, look, I'll be honest with you, a bit like all of us, and Connacht know it, and I voiced it with them last year. If you're not in the main event, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? There's so much rugby on that, you know what I mean? I'm not going watching Zebra. I see you play Zebra all the time. You know, and not being overly harsh.
Yeah.
Connacht
Fair enough.
should be at the top table. Hopefully they can push in this year. But
should be, but again, like we talked last week, that the URC only getting 8 places in the Champions Cup is a bit unfair if you think compared to the English and the French.
You're mad to get those English spots, aren't you?
Bloody English, huh? What was it you called them again? Can't remember.
Plucky
England.
Plucky England with their 10 teams and massive population of rugby players.
Oh, but they're plucky. Jeez, they turn up and try their best. Ulster record loss to Toulouse. I have to say, listen, Ulster are devastated. They didn't pick their strongest team to go over there because I know that they're going to try and win at home this weekend against Bordeaux, who are the hell of a team as well. We talked about them, but like to be disappointed to go to Toulouse. I was watching it a minute and 20 seconds in. Toulouse score the first try, but I just can't help watch Toulouse and not just be in awe of Antoine DuPont. I love that guy.
Yeah,
like
he's incredible.
He's just so fucking good. Like in a team game where it's very hard to stand out as an individual player, he just does it all. And anyone who's kind of a half, not a mega rugby player, whatever else, if Toulouse are on the telly, watch him because he is just next level. I love him.
He's box office, to be fair to him. But they look good for it, didn't they? I don't know. I'd like your view on it because an awful lot of people were really tough on Richie and selection. But like I remember you said at the start, Tommy, Ulster win at home, and let's be honest about it, that's enough. Like I actually thought that I remember playing when I was 19 against Perpignan away, and I was no bit at the level. Now Declan Kidney was telling me that, but then by playing I saw it, and I saw what good was, and all of a sudden he can give you an example of physicality, and he can give you an example of breakdown work because you've seen it on the pitch. I think that game will stand to those Ulster young fellas.
Yeah,
because they
big time.
They got to see what good is.
Totally. No, I totally agree. Like, I just look at, Ulster's run of games. They had Leinster, they have, obviously, Toulouse, they have Bordeaux. So they're the top two in the French division. Then you have Munster, then you have Connacht. Then they're into, I think they have Leicester Tigers, and then they have Exeter. It's a brutal run of games. And Ulster don't have the player pool at the minute. They're trying to blood through a lot of young guys. They won't be able to withstand the heat of the race. So Richie Murphy has to box clever. He has to think, go to Toulouse, try and put up a performance. He wasn't. He clearly in the post-match press conference was pissed off with the performance because they just didn't turn up with the breakdown. Of course. But people will forget that if they turn up this week and beat Bordeaux. And I think, when you're a young side like that, it's about winning the home games, keep the crowd happy, keep them turning up and knowing that whenever they front up, it's going to be massive. But still to concede 60 points, very disappointing.
Well, it was the first half performance. What were you down there? 40? You know what I mean?
Listen, they pretty much had the bonus point. There's one pull back within 20 minutes,
But they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. But then again, look, we said it, good experience for Ulster. We want to see them bop, though, this weekend. And Tommy, you're right. That this weekend for Ulster, it's a great scalp. They're incredible.
Oh, jeez, Dunners, I was looking at that Bordeaux backline. Have you seen it? Joey Carberry's gone there. He can't even get on the team. You have Jalabert at 10. You have
Jalabert, is he the best 10 in Europe? Did you just see how
he's so good, isn't he?
Here's the big question. Will he play in the Six Nations now? There's chance that he's had a bit of a row with the French camp and he's out and stuff like that.
Because you have Entomac. It's like the 9 and 10 again. Do you know what I mean? You have Entomac, obviously, who you think might start at 10 because he plays with DuPont. But if you look at them, they've Jalabert at 10, Mofana, Penno, Biel Barry, that young superstar speedster as well. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But do they travel? The French don't travel. A rainy day in Belfast.
We'll see. To be fair, I listened to Michael Check after that match. He's gnarly and smart, isn't he? He was delighted with the 1 point. But I actually admired his honesty of maybe there was 2 points in that one. I actually like a coach that kind of nearly thinks about that. What could we realistically get, I know it might sound defeatist, but coming away from somewhere like that, he would have been thrilled to get 2, I think they're a potential banana skin Leicester for someone,
Yeah,
play
big
well.
time. Well, listen, Cheka, he can get a hell of a performance as well. Erin King, she was in with us today. The World Women's 15s Breakthrough Player of the Year. Doff of the cap to her. She is a superstar, man. Honestly, she's been playing sevens. She's grown up in Wicklow. She was playing Gaelic football. She was playing a load of different sports. Got into sevens. Was ripping it up on the sevens scene. She played, I think, 2 weeks of rugby. Didn't know how to maul. Played in her first couple of matches and went to beat New Zealand.
Didn't know how to maul. Well, to be fair, you're in the right game at sevens if you don't know how to maul.
Well, I mean, to go to the 15s, not really. She said, I wasn't sure exactly how to maul. But listen, we went and we played the 15s. It just shows the talent of the girl to go and then to win World Breakthrough Player of the Year. Just shows the quality of it is. It also shows that realistically, the forwards don't really need to know what they're doing. Like, just stick your head in and be a forward. Like, that's it, Dunners, isn't it?
Tommy, head between two asses, boy, and just push. That's all you got to do in certain
key
positions.
To your game. But no, she's class, honestly. So she was just flown back from South Africa. She was in Cape Town. The week before that, she was in Dubai with the sevens. She's Reuben. She lives with Bevine Parsons, who unfortunately picked up a broken leg, which devastated for her. Yeah, she's going to miss the Six Nations, but she'll be back hopefully for the World Cup.
Brilliant. Because, look, you want them to be playing all the time, but you kind of want them to be in cotton wool as well with something that big coming up. But she's an incredible athlete. Tommy, she would burn you.
Bevin Parsons.
Yes. I'd love to see her with a one-on-one with you for how silly she could make you look.
Listen. I reckon, well, listen, in our heyday, the two of us, Dunners, let's do it.
No chance, man. In your heyday, you'd have wellies on around her. She'd skin you.
To be fair, she's broken her leg twice. I feel so sorry for her because I know exactly what that's like, and it's just heartbreaking when you're playing well and just to pick up a back-to-back injury is just heartbreaking. So,
but the one thing about her is she's a good pro. You can even just see in her conditioning how she looks after herself. Like I always notice with the good people, they come back better. You know what I mean? I always remember Flannery. Like Flannery nearly took injuries as an opportunity to kind of add a superpower, and you know that's going to happen with bathing.
It's like it's just it's got me into thinking about the sevens, right?
Oh, don't draw me into sevens now, please. I got in trouble over sevens before.
Why? What are you talking about?
I see if rugby was a meal, 15's is steak and 7's is salad. You know what I mean?
Are you having a laugh?
Yeah, it's not for me. There's too much space. There's too many fit, fast, athletic. You know what I mean? There's no appreciation for a bit of grunt and hardness. Everyone's really fast. Oh, it's horrible.
So there's no appreciation for slow, boring, penalty, miserable, rain, that's me. Fat arses. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Every day we hook that to my veins. Whereas sevens, and they're all, it's like, honestly, it's like playing in the alley pally. They're all, you know what I mean? Everyone's going bananas.
Sevens is amazing. I wish I got to play. Imagine touring Singapore, Dubai, Cape Town, Auckland, London, Paris, like, jeez, can you imagine that? Living and playing all these amazing places. Oh, I wish I got to play sevens.
When you would be well able, but I just think it limits half our playing pool. That's what I love about rugby.
Exactly. Get rid of the slow ones.
No, our game is for all, Tommy. Every shape, every size, tall, small, strings, haze. But
there's no space in the 15s anymore. It's getting boring. It's so slow.
That's the beauty of it. There's too much.
Like,
I remember
more scrums.
We used to have to play 10s for pre-season fitness, and oh my God, even taking 5 players off the pitch, like the exposure.
You actually honestly had to run. Can you imagine?
I felt naked. You know the way, like, normally I like to touch paint. I want to be so close that I can touch people all the time.
I would love to see you just playing sevens. in 2 gears. Donncha Callan, stop and slow.
Look, you have no doubting it. I am envious of them and jealous, and that's where it's coming from. But it's just, I'm a 15s man, and I know.
If we can get this clip up as well for people who are watching the podcast as well, there's a clip of Erin King lifting her teammate. It's Emily Lane, I think it is, above her head for like off a restart. It's one of those one-man lifts, millions of views. It's up there with the Red Jocks and the 10 siblings at this stage, but for a much more positive side. It's unbelievable.
There's
view.
a viral
We'll
clip that 2 of us would kill for.
Oh, if only we could have a good viral clip. Do you know what I mean? Right, that's all we have time for. Listen, a couple of big games coming up this weekend. Enjoy it. Or if not, I know.
Here, take us one run through it, right? So Friday night is Cast versus Munster. Then Ulster is.
Let me pull it up here. You're meant to know this as well.
We're non-stop with the research.
Okay, right. Connacht are on Sunday away from home against Perpignan. Munster Friday night 8:00 kickoff away from home against Cast. You've got Leinster are at home to Claremont. Oh, that's going to be a good one. 5:30 on Saturday. And Ulster are at home as well. 3:15 against Bordeaux on Saturday as well.
Oh, good time. That's a good time.
Cracker.
Yeah,
that's going to be a couple of cracker games. Brilliant. Good man, Donncha.
Well done.
Catch
See you
you
along
later.
the way, Tommy. Bye.